Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lanore.
This is Science for Humans with Dr. Jeff Golini.
I have not had a mishap of running your music, Dr. Jeff, in some time now, which means the next time you're on the air, I'll probably forget. So there you go.
Yeah, you've done a good job with that, Carl.
How you doing?
Man, I'm doing awesome. You know, how about you? You got back to hometown already?
Yeah, Montana was fantastic. I got to tell you something. I got to tell you something. Montana is a very, very appealing place to live. For those of you who have never been there, it really is where modern society meets the Old West. I mean, it still harkens back to the Old West, and it's not overpopulated. I mean, they don't even have stop signs on a lot of the streets. That's how underpopulated it is there. It's amazing. It's like the best kept secret in America.
And we got good beef, don't we?
I had beef for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It was fantastic. It really was. I had a great time. So, there's an announcement you want to make before we start talking about today's subject, which is the B vitamin that helps fight baldness. And it kind of plays into one of the things we're talking about today.
Absolutely. You know, we've been talking this whole past month about B vitamins, and we're going to kind of conclude our series today. And you know, we've done some offers to help people, to try it, but I'm so motivated only because, again, I'm using it and seeing all the benefits that I forgot that these B vitamins did. I want to donate 4 dozen full bottles, 120-count bottles of VitaDrive for anyone who would like to use it that maybe, couldn't even afford the discounted, $5.99. These are completely free. All you got to do is go to Superhuman Radio, ask the scientist, and just send me your mailing address and just mention VitaDrive free offer. I've got 4 dozen. I'm going to go ahead and give away to anyone who'd like to use it.
So 48 of you will get a free bottle of VitaDrive. And I'm going to talk about, I've been using VitaDrive, and I'm really excited about using it. And actually it plays into some of the discussion we're going to have today. But it's really one of the things that you'll notice immediately when you open the bottle. Lots of people spend a lot of money on labels and bottles, but the capsules, when you look at the capsules from All American Pharmaceuticals, they look like the capsules on real pharmaceutical drugs. The quality of the capping is so evident, and maybe just to me, maybe because I look at these things and I scrutinize, but when you look at these capsules, you're like, wow, this is really a well-made product. I have a great appreciation for well-made products as a rule, to tell you the truth. But check this out. Even if you're listening to the podcast and it's 3 weeks later, a lot of times people don't respond to these offers because they think to themselves, oh, I'm listening to this podcast, a week later, all those bottles may be gone. They may not be gone. So go to superhumanradio.com. Down on the bottom right-hand side, you'll see Ask the Scientist, which is where people ask Dr. Jeff questions to answer on the show, and send him an email and ask for a free bottle of VitaDrive. That's it. It's very simple. Take a chance. Are you getting an echo, Dr. Jeff?
No, I'm hearing you fine.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the B vitamin that actually is linked to, or deficiency is linked to baldness in men, and that's biotin, B7, right?
Absolutely. Biotin, it's got, this one's got a whole lot of names. Vitamin H, vitamin B7, coenzyme R. It's a very, very important B vitamin like the rest. But as you said, it is linked to, hair disorders. But kind of in a summary, it's also necessary for cell growth, the production of fatty acids, and the metabolism of fats and amino acids. It assists in various metabolic reactions involving the transfer of carbon dioxide, and it helps to maintain, a steady blood sugar level, along with, as you said, hair and nails. So it's one of those things, again, most of us don't think about. If you look at a hair vitamin, you always see biotin in there. But it's kind of one of those long lost necessities.
In fact, there's a French scientist who did some research on a copper bonded biotin directly injected into the scalp of people who suffered from what is considered male pattern baldness, alopecia, and it actually regrows hair. This is something you'll start hearing about. I think it's called biotin GCK or GCK biotin. There's only one good study or two good studies out there on it right now. But biotin has a powerful, powerful ability to actually regrow hair. That's why it's in a lot of shampoos that claim to help you regrow hair, and that's why it's in supplements that are supposed to make your hair thicker.
Absolutely. I mean, and that is one of probably the most well-known use of biotin is its important role in the growth and maintenance of hair. And like you said, it is in most shampoos. Some of them even say biotin shampoos. Very, very important. But, there's a lot of other things that it contributes to our health that's really important.
Well, one of them you just mentioned was the ability to get carbon dioxide out of the bloodstream, right?
Absolutely. I mean, so, for athletes, I mean, that's crucial, talk about, getting rid of things that hit that wall, carbon dioxide is one of those things. But, it helps in the whole metabolism because it processes everything we eat. Some of these vitamins are good for processing proteins or carbohydrates, but biotin is important for you to process, ingest carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. As a matter of fact, if your biotin levels are at proper amounts, your food will process really quickly. So it's important to keep those biotin levels up to good levels,
Well, let's play some connect the dots for a second, right? So I got an email from somebody recently who said his wife is suffering from anxiety. And of all the traditional things that they looked at, they couldn't find any answers for her. And one of the things that can cause anxiety is hypercapnia, buildup of carbon dioxide in the blood. I didn't think about it until I was preparing for this show. But the reality is that if you're biotin deficient, one of the earliest signs may be anxiety, because one of the earliest signs of hypercapnia is anxiety and then a racing heart. It changes the ventilatory effect of the heart rate. So someone who suffers from anxiety, doctors have done all sorts of work and said, we just can't find anything. You may want to look at your biotin levels or your vitamin B levels. Or heck, just go to Ask the Scientist and get a free bottle of VitaDrive and see if your anxiety starts to go away after a couple weeks of using it.
Absolutely. And, one of the reasons, Carl, that, doctors don't think about this is, in the medical profession, they think biotin deficiency is rare to none because our intestinal bacteria actually produce biotin in such excess that they say this is more than the daily requirements. Well, we all know what happens to our bacterial intestine process, from allergens and gluten and
glyphosate and everything else. Exactly. I mean, we talk about nowadays is how dysregulation of the microbes in people's guts today. Well, guess what? That could actually be causing a drop in biotin production. And let's connect another dot. Then this is why I actually started taking 8 VitaDrives a day instead of 4. I take 4 in the morning and 4 in the late afternoon. I eat on average 1 to 1.5 dozen eggs a day. Now, Alex Leaf, my news director, and I were having this discussion offline the other day. Raw eggs and cooked eggs have something called avidin in them. Avidin binds to biotin and deactivates it, takes it out of the body before the body can use it. Raw eggs have a higher amount of avidin, but cooked eggs can actually retain up to 40% of their active avidin, which means if you eat a lot of eggs and you have some gut issues, you may very well be biotin deficient.
Yeah, I'm going to have to up my dose after you told me that. I mean, I can't tell you, again, and take off the record that, I'm involved with the company, but I really forgot how important these whole B vitamins are, and I can't tell you how well I'm feeling, so it's pretty amazing. Blood sugar, biotin plays a major role in your blood glucose production. Being that it's heavily involved in the breakdown of carbohydrates, it's responsible to keep your blood sugars at healthy levels. Things, again, that, you're borderline diabetic, take this pill. No, you're probably biotin deficient. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I really do think so. And I, you know what? These are not the sexy things. Vitamin Bs are not sexy, right? We want to hear about the things that cause us to squirt more growth hormone and things that make us anabolic. And we forget that all of that is meaningless if the foundation is in disarray. It's multivitamins. When they came out last year and they said multivitamins are useless, what that really wasn't an indictment on multivitamins. It was an indictment on the RDA. Because people think they can take one Centrum a day and it's doing something for them. No, you can't. When you look at VitaDrive is designed for hard training athletes because we burn stuff up fast. We need more than the average person because our bodies are machines. You don't put regular gas in a Formula One. And so this is not the sexy stuff, but this is more important, quite frankly, than a lot of the sexy stuff that you're investing money in. I'm honest about it. That's why it's easy to forget. You throw it aside because all of a sudden this sexy thing comes into view and you're like, oh, multivitamins, forget about that.
Yeah, available at every health food store. I think because they become so available and because of the Centrum type products that push, this is the ultimate, people didn't really get anything from them because they're such a low dose. And then they're in a tablet. They've got all those fillers and binders that slow down the absorption. These are water soluble. You need it all hit at one time. But, like you said, we've got to build our bodies on the basics, the foundations. We cannot get this stuff from our food any longer. It is so difficult. And biotin, even though it's in a lot of foods, it's relatively low compared to some of the other B vitamins.
Right.
So again, if you do eat eggs, well, you told the story. But how many people have, thinning hair and, again, if the cosmetic industry is adding it to everything, there's kind of a reason,
Yeah, no, because they're getting results with it. Let's do this. Let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back, let's go over the deficiencies one more time, a little bit briefly, and then let's talk about where people can find high levels of biotin naturally in foods as well, since we know that if you're supplementing with it, a lot of that really doesn't matter. This is Science for Humans. We're talking about B7, biotin, a very, very important B vitamin. Don't be deficient. We'll be right back.
To outlast, outmuscle, and outperform your competition with a high-powered, stimulant-free carbohydrate source that has zero sugars, you want Carbolin. Carbolin is the original high-performance fuel that will allow you to load your muscles with glycogen in minutes instead of hours. As a pre, intra, and post-training supplement, it will give you a hardness and fullness to your muscles like you've never felt before. As an endurance supplement, Carbolin has been proven to increase VO2 max by 2.8%. If you want fast absorption and sustained energy without bloating or cramping, get Carbolin. Go to AAEFX.com today.
Everyone knows the importance of optimal vitamin D levels for health. Every week, a new study is released showing the linkage to disease from low levels of vitamin D. But throughout evolution, we have never gotten the massive amounts of vitamin D in our diet that we get today. This is why oral vitamin D is associated with toxicity and the risk of calcification of organs. Vitamin D is naturally synthesized in the skin, but dermatologists tell us to stay out of the sun for fear of skin damage. Now, you can take your vitamin D the way nature intended it with Primal D. Primal D delivers a topical dose of vitamin D into the skin where it belongs. Topically applied vitamin D does not carry the risks associated with oral vitamin D. And a single bottle of Primal D should last you a year. For less than 19 cents a day, you could be taking the world's best vitamin D supplement. Go to primal-d.com to learn more. Oh, and you don't have to wait to run out of your current vitamin D to order Primal D. You can just throw it away because it just became obsolete. Primal-d.com.
vitamin D delivery the way nature intended it.
AnabolicMinds.com is the premier website for credible information on building muscle, burning fat, supplementation, and more. With over 100,000 active registered members and over 2.5 million posts, it's one of the largest communities on the internet to get help and answers to your questions. It's also the place that the official Superhuman Radio Forum is hosted. Visit AnabolicMinds.com today and get into the action. AnabolicMinds.com. Learn, teach, lead.
You drink coffee, but do you know what's in your coffee? Pesticides, herbicides, unhealthy molds and bacteria. That's unless you drink NutriCafe. NutriCafe is small batch, certified organic Arabica whole bean gourmet coffee that's infused with an immune-supporting medicinal mushroom blend. NutriCafe tastes amazing because it's low acid, and it doesn't cost any more to drink the world's best coffee. Roasted fresh every week in small batches. Go to superhumanradio.com today and click the NutriCafe banner ad to learn more. There's only one NutriCafe organic medicinal coffee in the world. Why would you drink anything else?
Prime Nutrition is proud to present Max HP, their most scientifically formulated pre-workout supplement to date. Now available in 2 great tasting flavors, tropic fruit and raspberry. Max HP is the most ultra premium pre-workout available and is made without any artificial colors, flavors, or dye. Increasing blood flow to heighten anabolic activity, Max HP is designed to meet the heightened metabolic needs of high-performance athletes. Visit PrimeNutrition.com and use coupon code SuperhumanRadio to receive 20% off of your entire order. Go to PrimeNutrition.com today.
At Superior Hardcore Peptides, we pride ourselves on accurately dosed, high-quality peptides and research chemicals made in the USA. With all the options out there, we dedicated ourselves to providing the best service and the best products for your research. Click the banner ad on superhumanradio.com today and use the discount code SHR and get 20% off our already competitive prices. If you're going to do research, do it with the best Superior Hardcore Peptides.
The health and performance benefits of phytonutrients are indisputable, but getting all of your phytonutrients from your diet is difficult. That's why Prime Nutrition introduced PhytoForm. PhytoForm has nearly 11 grams of all the micronized veggies, fruits, fiber, minerals, and antioxidants you need. Alfalfa, organic spirulina, and chlorella, plus acai, pomegranate, goji, bilberry, blueberry, raspberry, cranberry, and papaya. Cabbage, spinach, broccoli, beet, the list goes on and on. You won't find a better, more complete fruits and greens blend anywhere. It even includes PQQ, which has been shown to improve mitochondrial biogenesis. Go to superhumanradio.com and click the Prime Nutrition banner ad today and use coupon code SHR to save 30% off. Prime Nutrition, the best or nothing.
Move over, superheroes. This is the Superhuman Channel.
Welcome back to Science for Humans. I'm here with Dr. Jeff Golini. We're talking about vitamin B7, biotin. Make sure you're getting enough of it. So let's go down the list real quick of signs and symptoms of deficiency. Right. So we talked about fine hair already, or brittle hair loss, or total baldness. What else?
Yep. That's one that's common. Dermatitis, any type of skin irritation, usually like flaking of the skin, you have an itchy scalp. Children suffer from a condition where they have muscle pain and hair problems. Those are also biotin deficiency. Anorexia.
Really?
Low appetite. That one I didn't know about. But yeah, that is biotin. Anemia, it can cause slight anemia. So this is a big old name. I'll probably say it wrong because I'm not a medical doctor, but hyperthesia and paresthesia.
Paresthesia is pins and needles. So if you sit on your foot too long and then you get up and it falls asleep, that's paresthesia.
Yeah, and a lot of people always as I mentioned, talk about, man, I have like these prickling, tingling, I go numb. So, biotin is, along with a couple other B vitamins, that's a deficient in.
Now think about this, Dr. Jeff. Hold your thought.
Yeah.
How many people go to a doctor and complain about tingling and subjective numbness, and they're put on things like gabapentin because their doctor tells them, you've got neuropathy, when it could just be a biotin deficiency?
Well, or, they're thinking they're having a stroke or a heart attack, so they put them on blood thinners Absolutely. I mean, the body was designed, it's a machine. The way it works, you got to fuel it. You got to change your oil in your car. If not, it's going to blow up.
It actually benefits the medical orthodoxy to ignore vitamins and minerals, because that allows them to prescribe drugs for things that might be the result of vitamin and mineral deficiencies.
Absolutely. And what cracks me up is there are now some doctors and some of these drug companies who are trying to get into dietary supplement where, for instance, if they wanted to prescribe biotin, they would say, okay, you need to take 500 milligrams. Here's a prescription, and you go buy it through the pharmacy and pay those outrageous prices when you can buy a 500 milligram over the counter.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
That's a whole nother story for another day.
Yeah. So paresthesia. How about I've read that you can. You may have said this, and maybe I missed it. Mild depression.
Yeah, I think again, because like you talked about, absolutely. Mild depression, some mood swings, electrocardiographic activity of the heart, irregular.
So we have a lot of people out there with arrhythmia, mitral valve. Tachycardia, and what's the other one that's really popular now that everybody's getting a drug for? The PV, not preventricular contraction, but you know what I'm thinking of?
Yeah, I can't think of the name. But again, obviously those are serious medical conditions, but would a doctor go, so how's your biotin levels?
Yeah, AFib. That's it, AFib. Yeah, right. Oh. They don't ask you about your vitamin intake at all.
They don't ask you about your diet, your exercise program. What did you eat today? And again, most Americans, this whole fast food processed, you're getting no vitamins and minerals when you're eating on that side of the grocery store, so to say. You got to go back to healthy eating. I mean, even to get these things from your food sources, they are out there, in a lot of common foods, but we don't eat those foods,
Well, why don't we list them? We've got about 4 minutes before the end.
Right.
Let's
Here we
list
go.
the foods.
One that I never eat, Swiss chard, is probably one of the higher ones.
Really?
But yeah, Swiss chard. Carrots. Mm-hmm. Everybody likes carrots. Here's your favorite: walnuts, almonds. Those particular nuts are, higher in biotin. Chicken eggs, goat's milk, cow milk. A lot of people don't eat dairy. Berries and fruits. So many people are told to stay away from fruit. Too much sugar. I mean, good gosh. Halibut is the fish that contains the higher amount of biotin, and then most vegetables like onions, cucumbers, cauliflower. All have good levels. But again, if they aren't organic, by the time they've radiated them, pesticided them, you probably aren't getting anything from them. That's why.
And whatever you are getting isn't really worth the journey, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's just not worth it.
So again, it's all about, this show is really about healthy living, changing lifestyles. So even though we talk about a VitaDrive, we're really trying to help, folks change their lifestyle, right? What they eat, what they drink.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So if you're eating a well-rounded diet, you may still be slightly deficient in biotin if you eat eggs and or you have a dysbiosis in your gut microbiome. So it pays to go ahead and supplement just to be on the safe side. B vitamins, you urinate them out. They're not going to accumulate in your body. Are there any side effects from taking too much biotin, Dr. Jeff?
There's nothing reported. Again, as you said, they're water soluble, so it's very difficult for you to build up an excess. Unless you would be taking, thousands of milligrams every hour for months on hand, which, no one's going to do that. So it's really, really tough to get any type of, overdose on these type of things. And that's the cool thing about dietary supplements compared to drugs. It's hard to overdose on these,
Yeah, absolutely. And you can get a free bottle of VitaDrive. This is free, FREE, an American standard. And all you have to do is go to superhumanradio.com. Down on the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a banner that says Ask the Scientist that goes directly to Dr. Jeff. Put your name and mailing address. Please don't forget that. And just say you want a free bottle of VitaDrive. 48 bottles. If you're listening to this show, so this show is taping July 1st. If you're listening to the show in August or September, don't just assume that all 48 bottles were given away. A lot of people just sit back and go, oh, somebody already got them. Because I'm like that. I'm listening to the radio show and they say, hey, the sixth caller. And I go, oh, by the time I call the sixth call. How do you know? Unless you try. So just try it, even if you're listening to the show late, and maybe you'll get something special from Dr. Jeff anyway as a consolation prize. How's that sound?
Absolutely. And I think, again, you will feel better. You'll have more energy, and all of the symptoms that we talked about, within a day or two, normally those will disappear.
And if you suffer from obstructive sleep apnea or you are a chronic snorer, you need more biotin to help shuttle carbon dioxide out of your bloodstream, because those of you who suffer from, I'm raising my hand, those of us who suffer from obstructive sleep apnea, when we have those periods of night where it's really bad and we are holding our breath in the middle of the night, we are undergoing something called hypercapnia. I mentioned this earlier in the show. Hypercapnia is an excessive buildup of carbon dioxide into the bloodstream. It causes that foggy feeling when you wake up in the morning. It causes lethargy throughout the day, and it changes your heart rate. So you need something that's going to help scavenge and get the CO2 out of the bloodstream. You need more biotin than the average person. I'm telling you that.
Absolutely. So before you go spend a lot of money at the doctor or go buy a new bed, get some biotin.
Try this.
Right?
Try this. Hey, Dr. Jeff, we'll be off the air next week because I'll be in sunny Alaska.
You have fun out there, man. Have some good seafood.
Lots of
crab
salmon. I'm going to be eating polar bear. I'm going hunting for polar bear. No, I'm not kidding around. I don't want the PETA.
You got to see if anybody up there can get you some moose. There's nothing better than Alaskan moose.
Seriously, Jeff?
Oh, yeah, seriously. That's a big food staple. It is really, really good, but you got to be, kind of fresh, but I think everyone has it up there. So I'm
going to try that. Thanks for telling me. All right. So I'll see you week after next, Dr. Jeff. Thank you for all the